Welcome back to 1969 teardrop restoration. Before we start, we're gonna check our temperature. It's 95.6 Fahrenheit. So we're still healthy, so we can continue our project. And before I start, I would like to tell you that I start this project in the middle of the winter. Right now it's the middle of the April, and I didn't make much documentation of my project. So when a couple weeks ago I was doing something, somebody told me, why don't you make a video so you can put online, show the people the beauty of Americana. And it took me a while, kind of a little bit long time, maybe 2 minutes. And I said, okay. So I got some documentations of the things I was doing before beginning of the April. It's mostly the pictures and some of the things which I did are kind of important to this project. So I'm gonna kind of recreate what I did a couple months ago. So as you see, this is the door and we have a window, but this is not original. The door are original, but the window is not. This is the original window, okay? And I like the nature and I like the little bit bigger light going inside. When I woke up in the morning, I want to see the nature, views, whatever. So this window was right here and I decided to make it a little bit bigger. So I purchased this in a local, they call it the junkyard. You can call it recovery station, something like that. This is from the old camper window. I purchased 2 of those, and those are 2 windows on the both sides. You can see over there is another window in the other door. Okay, so I will try to recreate what I did as quickly possible. So these windows were over here. Okay, so I removed this window. I removed this molding from the back of the door, and this door actually was 1/2 inch of the plywood with the sheeting of the aluminum. And what I find out, they were kind of like wibbly. 1/2 inch plywood is pretty strong plywood, but I want this camper to actually last for generations. So I decided to reinforce the door. So what I did, when I removed the old window, I actually make a 3/8 of an inch plywood. Okay, so I made it the template like this. Okay, this was my reinforcement, which I later put it in on this door. I show you later what I did. So when I had this little opening, which is right here, so this is the piece which I actually cut from the panel, the wood panel, okay? And I was using, basically, I took the new window. This piece is actually this piece. They look similar, okay? A little bit different size, okay? So when I took this part, actually I make it the line around it, and this was my guide where I'm gonna cut this door. So I make the template. This is actually interior, because this piece is not the window. Window is already on the door. So my template went on this side. I was using the 1/4 inch plywood just to make sure that I'm gonna cut this opening exactly the size of the window. I try not to have too much gaps, because you know, too much silicone, too much sealant around the window is not a good idea either. So I make the template. Okay, this was my template. Then I took this template, I put this template right on this panel. Okay, clamp it with the clamps, and I cut nice opening in this plywood. So this was the piece, I cut it. Okay, that's the original. I actually don't throw away things, so it's sitting in my garage for 2 months. I'm probably gonna make something from it later. And what I did, I installed this thing over here, okay? And I show you how I did it. So I had a couple of stands, okay? I take my reinforcement panel, wood glue, okay? This is the small bottle. For both door, I actually use a couple of those. So if you buy a quart bottle, will be a little bit cheaper. So I put the glue on this panel. Of course, you gotta remember there's opening already for the window, okay? So you brush the glue over here, you open your door, you brush the glue around this panel, okay? Everywhere, nice. And you take this piece, okay, glue right here, glue right here, and you actually stick together. You push it in, and I was using the clamps, okay, to secure it, and leave it overnight, and job is done, okay? So this panel actually is already on this door, and the other panel is already on the other door. And I was using those clamps, many of those, probably 20 around, because the clamps was over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, here at the bottom. Everywhere there was the clamps. So I'm done with this panel so far. And then there was the time to put in the window. So the window perfectly fit in this opening, which is the 1/2 inch and 3/8, which makes my door right now a little bit over 3/4 of an inch. They're much stronger. They not wobbling. You can actually, if you're angry, you can slam it, okay? It's nothing gonna happen to it. So when I install the window, and this way, the new window was looking exactly the same way the old one. You can see the flange, okay? It's a pretty wide flange. Actually, the new window has even bigger flange, which means that when you apply the caulking, and I'm using, to be honest with you, polymer, it's a much stronger, flexible, waterproof, weatherproof, freeze-proof, everything proof, bonding between any materials, especially wood, aluminum, and this window is the aluminum window. So you apply this molding everywhere around, okay, nice and tight. Polymer is actually not leaky. It's very, it stays it stays on the surface. You still have a lot of time to work with your project. So it's very good sealant. So when I apply everything around it, you actually stick this to the door. The problem is, what you're gonna do to keep this surface of the window kind of push and bound to the door. So I designed the little idea, which was not very smart. It's a common sense thing, okay? So what I was using a couple clamps. So basically, you got something like that. Okay, more or less. Then at the bottom, let's say like this, you grab it with another clamp. Okay. If you see, there is this piece of board, this piece of wood actually holds this window, kind of trying to push this torch inside. That's what we want. The reason we want the best seal around this aluminum panel, that the water will actually not penetrate in, between the flange to interior of your camp. There is plenty of polymer binding around it, but you want to make sure that this is done right. And I was using actually the shims. It's a piece of wood, kind of wider on this side, very skinny on this side, and kind of pushing between the window and the board, making actually the more tension. So this piece of wood actually is pushing this window inside, so you don't have to actually do any of the work. And I left this for a couple of days, and after that, this window, probably the door will fall apart, but this window will be staying at the place I did. Okay? So, and another board with the clamps you're using on this side, same thing. You're using your shims, couple clamps, okay, and you shim it so the tension of this board is pushing this window in. Okay, so I think you're gonna get it. It's no rocket science thing. This is only the idea to show you how this was done. To make this opening, you can use any tools you want. I find out that the best machine which actually works to make this opening, because I was cutting through aluminum and also to the 1/2-inch plywood, is this little Milwaukee machine, okay? After you make your line with the magic marker, you actually follow slowly around it and make this opening. So basically, you're gonna end up to having the shadings like this, and those blades are actually cutting through the metal and through the plywood. Okay, so very useful tool. Okay, if you have in your project, you're gonna have something like a little bit tougher places, you can actually use one of this machine, okay? And this machine is very useful. You can change the blades in a second, okay? So you have and it's trigger. So the more you squeeze the trigger, This is you know, the motion you inquire, the motion you want to inquire. You can actually, with this machine, you can even go to the blade as small as this one. Okay, you can see how neat. So you can actually go around the edges or something, you know, vary with the slow motion or high. So very useful machines from Milwaukee camper. Original camper did not have threshold around the side of the door opening. This means it didn't have nothing which actually stopped this door between going inside. And what I find out, there was no any protection from the weather, wind, rain, mosquitoes even, you know, because there was the little gap between, even if you close the door, there is like, you know, 1/8 of an inch opening between those two aluminum moldings. So what I did, I put the nice strip of wood around it for later to put the weather strip seal. So when you close this door, it actually will be sealed. No rain, no wind, no weather, no nothing, no bugs, for sure no bugs, okay? So what I did, it's very narrow curve, okay? So first of all, I decide I'm gonna take the quarter inch of the plywood, which is this one, okay? And I cut the strip like this. And I was thinking that, you know, it's a pretty wibbly plywood because it's only quarter inch. So I was actually thinking I may be able to curve it, okay? You can see, and actually this thing didn't work. It snaps, okay? You can hear it. It's actually, when you're trying to bend it, there is the point, it's gonna snap. So, garbage for me. I went to the local wood shop, very inexpensive, quarter inch, pine molding, okay? What it says something, okay? Made in New Zealand, wow, okay? What about Canada? They got plenty of pine trees. But anyway, it's made in New Zealand. I don't really care. I need a couple of those things which actually goes right here, all the way here to here, okay? It's pretty difficult to bend it, but what I did the, you know, trick. I wet it with the water, okay, both sides, okay. After 5 minutes, I wet it again, but I want to be quick. What I did, I put something heavy on it, okay. Right now is the hammer. You can go with, depends, with something a little bit heavier. But I want to show you so when you wet this wood, okay, tomorrow this thing's gonna stay like this, okay? It's not gonna be straight. It's gonna be actually bended. So depends which curve you want to accomplish. You put something heavier. Be careful, okay? Don't save the water. Make it as wet possible, and leave it overnight. And this thing will actually curve and stay that way. Okay, so this is maybe helpful for you if you want to do any other project which involves the moldings and something like thin wood which you would like to curved. Okay, so we have a door with the window, and I actually what I find out, this windows which I purchased, they were designed for the campers from I would say maybe 80s, 90s, with a little bit thicker wall. So this molding, it's supposed to actually go on this side to secure the window to the panel. As you see, my door is only a little bit over 3/4 of an inch. This window is designed for the 1 3/4 of an inch wall panel. So for the aesthetic look, I decided that I don't really need this molding. This window doesn't go anywhere. It's gonna stay, and it's flush nicely with the door. I already put the primer on it, so maybe next week I'm gonna paint it, and this door will be actually done. And the other door, as you see, it's also done. Also, I paint the floor with the epoxy paint. Okay, this is original molding, which I threshold, the door threshold. Probably this one is from the other side. This one is on this side. Yeah. Okay. So this is the original one. It goes like this. It's not screw yet. Okay, but it will be. And basically this is it for now. Oh, let me tell you a little bit more about those machines. Okay, so if you homeowner, if you know, project guy like I am, okay, nobody is pro. I like those machines, okay, but the thing is, they're not very helpful in this project. This project is kind of small. We're not cutting the George Washington Bridge beams. They are very heavy. They last, but they also bulky. They big. Compare this piece, for example, to this piece. Okay, and basically both of them does the same job. Okay, so I decided to go with the Milwaukee company. It's very good tools. I have a lot of different tools which I actually use it for different projects. I have different tools, and for example, imagine this sawzall, okay, to let's say this one, and basically both of them does the job. Okay, very neat, handful, and small items. What else we have here? Oh, okay, we have this lathe machine, which is very neat. Okay, it's multiply blades goes to it. You can cut anything you want. There is they can go faster. Okay. Lower, depends which job you want to do. They can shave, they can clean, they can cut anything you want. Different blades for different jobs. Like I have even the ceramic tile cutters. Okay, so if you are the mason, or you the tile layer, or working with the granite or stuff like that, those tools are very helpful because they go in a very narrow places. So next tool is this lathe machine. Okay, it's actually diamond blade. It spins. It spins multiply spinning rotations, okay? So it can be very precision tool, and it can be actually the really fast cutting machine. So this is very helpful machine. You can put different blades. This one is actually the diamond. It's very skinny. It's I don't know. It's less than 1 millimeter. Okay, it's maybe one of the 32. Okay, something like that. Very useful tool. Then we have a bunch of drills and drivers. Okay, quick connections. You can actually put on those things, multiply choices of the bits quickly, easy, like those things. Everybody has a bunch of those. Depends which job you're doing. You actually remove this one quickly. It's a magnetic bit. Okay, you put anything you want. For example, the flat one. Okay, and you can work with the different speeds and choices of the bits, which is great machine for small, tough to reach places. This is another one, which I like very much. This is 3/8 wrench, actually. Okay, you can actually unscrew any screws you want. What I like about this one actually, it's double battery. This is double size, but any of those little small batteries works on all of those machines. You can actually do kind of hard to reach places. Okay, you can you know, unscrew something which it's very difficult. You can actually switch this to the, okay, with this thing right here, to the smaller one. Okay, no problem. You can have a smaller one. Also, it's flexible and it's very strong, by the way. You can actually go through the regular one, which is the salad. Then you have a quick tool which you can work on cars or in tough areas also. And besides that, you know, flashlight skills, so things like that. Very useful tools, okay? And I have those tools for more than 10 years. And guess what? All the batteries are still working, which I cannot tell about other company. And I keep those tools always in my bag, in my Subaru, which, you know, sun, freezing weather, I always have it because there is always people around me which want to fix something or I want to improve something. It doesn't matter, it's here or at work. Okay, thank you very much and stay healthy. Goodbye.